I heard a term yesterday at church that Pastor John Wayne used, described as truthing. If you missed it, go listen to it. But it's described as a way of living like Christ. Less about my version of the truth, but living like the one who is the truth. Later, I went back and I looked at the whole context in Ephesians, and I basically got truthed in a good way. The context of this begins at the beginning of Ephesians. Paul is writing a letter to the church in Ephesus, and in his letter, he is praising God for their salvation. He's praying for the church in Ephesus. He's reminding them of their former lives and how they were once dead and far from Christ, but now have been adopted as sons and daughters, calling the church, he calls us, God's household, with Christ as a cornerstone and us all fitted together as a holy temple. And then in chapter 3, we see an interesting pearl embedded in verse 10, and Paul says, so that. So now what he has said before all of this, to this end, pay attention. So he's saying, so that the manifold wisdom of God might now be made known through the church to the rulers and to the authorities in heavenly places. We are saved. We are redeemed. We are brought into the family of God, fitted together to grow as a holy temple and with the Spirit's dwelling place, so that through the church, God would be made known to rulers and authorities in the heavenly places. The big takeaway, it's not about me, it's not about Brenda, and it's not about you. It's about a kingdom and it's about a king. It's not about a trend, but it's about eternal purposes. When Paul prays for the church again, he prays for God's power through the Spirit in their inner man, so that you will be rooted and grounded in love, to comprehend love, to know love which surpasses knowledge, so that you will be filled up to the fullness of God. He wants us, his people, to be loved and to love through the Spirit of God, not a human emotion, but a spiritual empowering. This is truthing, living the truth of who we are. With that, Paul literally begs the church, and I would suggest he begs us across the generations with the same message to me and to you. A, walk in a manner worthy of the calling. Walk with humility. Walk with gentleness, with patience. Walk showing tolerance for each other in love. And then also to preserve the unity and the bond of peace. So now, what is my response to this? What is your response to this? I've read and reread this over the years, and this morning I have been convicted by God's Spirit through the Apostle Paul. I can make this personal. And as I do, I hear the Lord saying, Brenda, remember when you were dead in your trespasses? Remember when you were far from me? But now I have made you my very own. I call you my daughter. You are a part of my family, a part of the holy temple, fitted together with this precious living stones called your brothers and sisters, so that the wisdom of God would be made known to rulers and authorities. Brenda, you are serving an eternal purpose. And my friends, this is true of each of you. We literally belong to Christ. We literally belong to one another, and together are serving as a witness of God by how we love each other. Daughter or son, prayers are being made in heaven for power through God's Spirit to be in you and to be in me, that we will be rooted in love, immovable love, enduring love, sacrificial love, love that surpasses knowledge. Son or daughter, in the words of Paul, I implore you, be rooted in love, be unified. This is truthing. My prayer for all of us is that God would cleanse us where we have not preserved the unity, where we have not been humble, where we have not been gentle. Forgive us, God, and enable us by your Spirit to love beyond our knowledge, to preserve the bond of unity in us, your people. God, help us that we may serve your purposes in our day as your holy temple. This is my prayer for all of us. In Jesus' holy name, amen.